Hi, Pisces. This is your Homelight Security reading for the month of June. For the month of June. I was like, duh, for a second. For all Pisces signs. And if you've never listened to any of these videos before, please look at that information right there because it helps you to know how to handle it, whether I'm talking about your core energy, your emotional energy, your manifestation energy, depending on rising, sun, moon rising. And I also have some sales going on. That's all in the description box. So please check that out as well. But let's get into what I'm getting for Pisces for the month of June. I'm sorry, I'm pulling some cards before I get too far in because that was already giving me like, come pick me up. I am being told, okay, I'm getting, before I get into the cards, I'm getting pink and green energy, which is very sensitive growth, but what I'm really getting is, how do they say that? Like walk softly, like you're treading on water. Not all is as it seems. And let's face it, Pisces, you guys should be easy to understand. Not all is as it seems, being ruled by Neptune. But what I'm feeling like is, oh, you're only seeing one part of the picture. I use it a lot when I talk to help people understand something and I'm asking them to see the big picture. I'm like, say you're in a room and I tell you to look at the wall and there's a window on the wall and then you can see out into the world. And if I asked you to look at the wall, you're like, okay, so there's a window on the wall. What? And I'm like, no. Are you looking out the window and seeing what's going on? Are you looking at the window? Are you looking at the wall itself and the shelves that are on the window, the knickknacks? Is it painted well? I mean, this is what I'm talking about when I say, are you seeing the full picture? Or are you just seeing, hey, there's a window on the wall? Or maybe somebody throwing, a ball at somebody else outside of the window. But you're not really paying attention to the wall might need painting. The knickknacks are cracked. I feel like tread thin is what I'm supposed to be telling you right now. Because there's stuff you're not seeing. And long story short, what they just gave me is some of you are too much in that Neptune fantasy land where imaginative versus intuitive. I like to explain Neptune as where fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality. And I'm not saying anything bad is coming, but what I'm saying is they are definitely telling me to tell you, tread thin. First card out is Queen of Swords. Feel like you're just cutting through everything. I'm the man. I got this clean cut. Like cutting the cords. Being harsh, no problems. I got trust issues. Won't. I'm taking care of this. And voila. However, what's coming in is the Four of Pentacles. And this is telling you to ground yourself. You are being reborn, but this is asking you, are you really sucking in all four of the elements? It's Induus, which is asking us about our inner nourishment. And I say Induus because most people aren't going to realize that's a rune. But for me, I don't read tarot the way other people do. For me, this is a rune from runes. And this is asking about your four, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual, and your physical. And if all four of them are not balanced, then you're out of balance. So if you're paying attention just to your emotional or just your physical, but you're not paying attention to your emotional, you know what I'm saying? All four must be in balance. And this is saying if you're not in balance, with all four, then you're not in balance. You're coming through here all hot and heavy, I feel like, in charge, taking no names, doing a great job. Then I'm getting the Princess of Swords. Fierce crusader, you know, a force for good and for bad. Stamina, ready to pounce, ready to go, which is pretty much what I was saying. Tell me where this is going, though, please. For Pisces. Thank you. It's the Four of Cups. Like I said, I don't just necessarily take what the tarot says. It is overwhelmed. Four of Cups a lot of times is, you know, like, oh, I've done so much so fast, and wait a minute, I spilled all the cups, and now all of the cups would be the cups of water, of the nourishment. And if you're going so fast with your sword, you don't want to knock all of them down, and then now you don't think you have anything. Wait a minute, I did too much too fast, and now I have nothing. That's the lesson here. Slow down. You don't want to try to do it all so fast that you screw yourself over in a way. It's blending your inner and your outer world. It's reflection and balance. And you're making sure that they're saying, they turned it into purple, and they're telling me to help you find your deeper reasoning for being, because this is too comfortable, too good. It's the Devil card. It is the shadow of your desires and your addictions, and taking this energy as it's an addiction. And then the energy is going to shift, and then what are you going to do? This is self-sabotaging. Like I said, if you going too fast and you knock over all of the cups, is overwhelming forces that's feeling like it's not going to be fertile and move forward. And this is just slow down. You're getting very addicted to this energy. It's feeling very good, but I don't feel like it's going to last. This one. Yeah. You are putting it behind you, but this is feeling like you're going to get stuck, and you can get out of this, but this is also about the premature ejaculation. Is what they just told me. Let me see. Let me see what the next deck has to say. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the way they put it. What does Pisces need to hear for the month of June? What does Pisces need to hear for the month of June? If you give me it, I'm going to move on to that third deck real fast. I'm not believing it. Hold on, I'm hit the other deck. It wasn't feeling strong enough. So I'm not pulling it. I'm trying to make sure that the cards are all out. What does Pisces need to hear for the month of June? Stop hiding how you truly feel. Be upfront and honest and bold with yourself. What else is going on with Pisces right now? What else is going on with Pisces right now? What I'm getting is the silver box. This is where we put our wishes, our dreams, and we hope for the manifestation to come through. Then you have the witch's ball, which is to break and get rid of all of the. It's like a spell to protect and to keep the bad things from coming. The athame to cut it through. You have good things coming. I just feel like they're saying don't overdo it. Don't jump too fast, because then you might screw yourself over. Follow through with your talents. You're getting the raven. Again, it's not quite as it seems. The raven is all about destruction for construction. So, yeah, you're supposed to be doing what you're doing, but I feel like just don't over freaking do it. And then you're getting the full moon. And so something is going to be being brought into full illumination for you to see. Now, let's see what the astrology has to say as we move forward. But Spirit just keeps telling me to tell you to slow down. You may be feeling pushed in a direction or the other. You may feel that you need to ask for help. Be willing to create new things. Be willing to accept help. Be willing to understand that by accepting the help it will allow change to take place in a new positive way. It'll change and bring a new level of creativity into your manifestation. And don't hold on to the heavy. Don't hold on to the heavy. And then, yeah, it's another transformation. What do you fear? Just slow down. I just feel like don't be so gung-ho is what I'm supposed to be telling you. Anything else? It's just learning to be more at balance with your own magic. Don't overexert yourself, because then when you're going to need it, that's exactly what it is. Then when you're going to need it, that's when you won't have it. So you need to learn balance. Really is what it comes down to. Because like I said, I was getting into it, which is the 4. So it's just don't try to do so much so fast that you're going to be an overboard. And then when you need the energy, the creativity, the magic, the spirit to be able to help you get there, you won't have any left. You've exerted it all. So not as much, not as fast. Now, as you get into the astrology itself, you have Mercury that is moving into Gemini on the 13th. You have a full moon. Sorry, my dread's getting in the way. You have a full moon on the 14th on the galactic center. You have the sun moving to Cancer on the 21st. On the 22nd, Venus moves into Gemini. Then on the 28th, you have a new moon in Gemini, as well as Mercury goes retrograde. We already have Pluto in retrograde. We already have Saturn in retrograde. And Jupiter is in shadow. So let's look at what this means for you directly. All right. Come the end of the month, in your very first house, your creative house, not creative, your self-awareness house, your ability to tap into your magic, believing in your magic. And it's not that way for everybody. It's because of you being a Pisces, and it's ruled by Neptune, and Neptune's in shadow. This is saying, you can't escape yourself. You can only recreate yourself. This is by getting to know yourself on different dimensional levels of your character, of your personality, of your awareness, and your personal idea of yourself. So Neptune is about to go retrograde. With Neptune in retrograde in Pisces, this is the worst time for anybody to try to escape, because it will come back 3/4 hard when Neptune comes out of retrograde. However, it's a great time to explore and try new things because you can breathe new magic into it. So it's breathing new character into you, new magic into you, new beliefs into you, new creative energy into you, and your identification, your view of life, how the world sees you. It's elevating if you're doing it right. If you're escaping, then anything you're trying to be in denial of is going to come back harder on you. Now, here's the key. Jupiter had been in your sign for quite a while. It's now in Aries. It's going to retrograde back into your sign, but then it's going to be in retrograde. Jupiter retrogrades from your second house, which is right now your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, on July 28th. And so that's a month and a half away, but it's technically in shadow. Now, Jupiter is in your second house of Aries with Mars, which is really making you feel abundantly secure. Really making you feel in your warrior, passion, action, aggression, your higher knowledge, abundant and feeling strong and powerful. But the reason I know that's why they're telling you to slow down, because in a month and a half, Jupiter is going to retrograde, and that's not going to be quite the same. See, because Jupiter is also in shadow, and then when it retrogrades, it's going to be in your second house. Your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom. All of that creates who you are is coming with abundant force right now. Very fire-filled, very passionate, standing in your power, but that's also where your manifestation is taking place. That's where the law of attraction is taking place, feeling like you're in possession of yourself. But when Jupiter retrogrades, it's going to start questioning all that. And with being a shadow, it's going to also start questioning you shortly here on how strong and firm you really do feel about yourself. So Mars isn't going to stay here forever. And then Jupiter is going to retrograde back into Pisces, bringing it back into your first house of your awareness of where you're a big fat liar, or where you haven't been telling yourself the truth, where you've been standing in your power, but really, are you? So there's a reflection coming in, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just tweaking. That's really what it is. It's going to be tweaking you, strengthening you, and then redirecting. But this energy is going to be taking place throughout the whole rest of this year, because it's not going to make it back into your sign until October. And then it's not going to go back into Aries again until probably May. January, February, May. So we're talking about this energy you're feeling right now is going to be kind of like with the retrograde in it up through the next 6 months. So I'm preparing you for that, not just for this month, but in general. Now, you also have your third house right now, which is your communication house, is off the chain, making you able to just probably over communicative. You might even be picking up psychic energy more than normal, because your communication house is Taurus. However, you have Venus here, you have Mercury here until the 13th. You have Uranus here, the North Node, and Pallas, strategic thinking, the wisdom. And this is knowing how to use it appropriately to get what you want instead of push to receive to get what you want. But that energy, Mercury and Venus, are going to be moving into your fourth house, which is your inner emotional security, which is where you're also going to have the new moon taking place at the end of the month. The sun's going to be here, but right before the new moon, it's going to move out. So it's still illuminating your sensitivity about your own inner emotional security. And what part of it is a lie and what part of it is true? What part of it truly is secure versus what part of it is in denial? And this is the roots of who and what you are, and realizing how it built you to be this way. And is that truly something that secured you, or is it something that you need to nurture into a healthier direction? And with Venus coming in, it's going to be telling you how to communicate with yourself where you truly are nurturing yourself and loving yourself properly for that security, versus where it's uncomfortable and something you need to face and heal in order to move on. You have Mercury coming in here as well, which is the ruler. So this is asking you to get into your logic and your reasoning behind how you communicate with yourself and the outer world, and what you're communicating to the outer world, if it's true, between logic, reasoning, and emotions. Because you're talking about it going into the twins, which is Gemini, which is all logic or emotions. And usually that's the problem with Gemini. It's supposed to be in equal balance when usually it's one or the other. And this is making sure that you're not overly emotionally going into something or logically going into something, but putting no heart into it. So the communication is asking you to truly get right with yourself, to be right with your sensitivity for the good and the bad, to illuminate the truth. And you're going to be noticing that coming off of that new moon's at the end of the month on the 28th, but you have the full moon directly in opposition of it. In your 9th house on the 14th. No, wait. And the 9th house, that full moon is going to take place on the galactic center. So you're talking about abundance coming into questioning if you're really being honest with your ethics, your morals, your higher self, your truth. Are you really getting right with your higher self, with your intuitive, your spirit itself, your not just your truth, but your dreams, your ambitions, your visions, your understanding, your spiritual essence, and how much of that is really truly being communicated with truth versus hidden heartache. Something's going to be going on during that full moon that's going to bring things to your attention to tweak, to work on by that new moon at the end of the month. The full moon takes place on the 14th. The new moon takes place on the 28th. It has everything to do with your communication with yourself and your higher self, and how and what that brings to the world you're manifesting outwardly. Because it has everything to do with where your vibration really truly is, without the gung-ho energy that you're feeling from Mars in your 2nd house and Jupiter in your 2nd house. Now, your 5th house is being able to have time to express yourself, to have fun, to do the things you enjoy, whether it's arts and crafts, whether it's music, whether it's, spending time at the beach, whether it's being a sports person, having time to enjoy the things that make you tick, what makes you enjoy this life, to express this life, to be part of this life. It's also usually where we meet our lovers because they have the same kind of interests. And this has to do with, are you really enjoying it or not? Are you satisfied? Are you finding satisfaction here? Are you getting time for it? The thing is Lilith is here, and so is Sirius. And Sirius is asking you if you're taking time to nurture that or if you're neglecting it. And it's important because you also have Lilith here, and Lilith is not very standing strong in her power here. This is the universal 4th house of that inner emotional security, but for you it's the 5th. And this means finding your inner emotional security takes place in finding your creativity, finding your outlet, of enjoyment? And are you getting to get to that outlet of enjoyment? And Lilith here is more apt to go, yeah, I'll help. This is one place where she's not her normal self. She's submissive. And it's important for you not to be submissive in this energy, but to nurture and not neglect these things that you need. Because without it, you're not going to be in balance. Now, your 9th house, we already went over. So this is going, actually, I'm taking you right up to your 11th and 12th house. And this is all about rules, walls, and boundaries. You have your 12th house and your 11th house. Jupiter is in retrograde, and so is Saturn in retrograde. This is ultimately, on a universal scale, the outer world. But this is the outer world for you as well as your 12th house. So this is saying the groups, the memberships, and the people that you keep support your dreams, your ambitions, and bringing it into fruition. But also, are there people that help you escape dealing with the things that you don't want to deal with that will ultimately get you to the goals, dreams, and ambitions? So this is saying, in a form, surrounding yourself with the right people, places, and things, by setting the proper rules, walls, and boundaries to be truly honest and upfront and real with yourself, is what's going to redirect you into the healing of creating your new tomorrow. But if you're not setting the rules, walls, and boundaries, and in fact you're sweeping them under the carpet, then what you're doing is creating another cycle that's going to be stagnant. So this is about making sure that you have the right people to help you see your truth, to help you point them out your truth, help support you and pat you on your back, as well as go, no, you're doing this, you're lying to yourself in this way, and you need to see it. But at the same time, have time to let you discover who you are. And then you'll be coming full circle. I love you guys. Bye.